Hello, friends. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the energies for November 2020 for life path number 33-6. So that's master number 33-6. So 33s. November is what we call a universal 6 energy month. And what that means is basically we could see that collectively we could see the areas of community, unity, love, family, health, service, and compassion highlighted this month. Now, your life path number is actually 6. 33 is an extension of that energy. So you may feel this 6 universal energy of November much more strongly than the rest of us, just because that's already a big influence, obviously, within your life. So just be aware of how things come up for you. I feel like the focus could be around home, family, and community. There may be some strong aspects of health as well, so just keep that in mind. The important thing to remember this month, I think, especially for 33 sixes and sixes, because this energy may be much stronger for you, is to keep up with those healthy boundaries and respect the healthy boundaries set forth by others. So where you may want to be very helpful, somebody may not be ready for or be open to that assistance, and you need to respect that. And same thing vice versa. If someone is trying to push their way into your space and help you in some way, but you're not ready for that assistance, and you ask them to you basically say no thank you, then they need to respect that boundary as well. It's really important this month to be mindful of the difference between being helpful and interference. And same thing with other people in your space as well. So it's this healthy balance, and 6 energy is very, very loving, nurturing, and giving. But when it falls into an extreme, it can sometimes be a little smothering. And so it's really important to make sure that you're in a healthy balance, especially this month when we have that universal energy coming in. When 6s are in their highest expression, there's this energy of recognizing the sense of responsibility we all have for our own well-being as well as the well-being of others. And so that's where you may see this energy come in around community. And you may feel called this month, 33s, to step into situations where it's very clear that there's a lot of divisiveness and polarity, and help to bring people together. Not force them together, obviously, but to help bring them together, to be supportive, to be nurturing, and that sort of thing, which is really part of your essence. So that won't be difficult. The key is to not overstep those boundaries and to not be smothering in that attempt to help bring others together. Okay, so it's kind of like a fine balance, a little bit of a dance. But anyway, so that's kind of the overall universal energy for the month. For November, for 33s, I broke the energy down into 4 weeks. And so the first week, we have this call to really, really unplug and reconnect to spirit, reconnect to your higher self, reconnect to your intuition. It feels like for 33s, there's going to be a lot of chaos in the external, and you need to find your center. You need to really ground into your center in whatever way works for you to be able to do that. So again, there's this call for balance for, 6 energy, and 33-6 energy is all about that nurturing caregiver, right? And so you may find yourself feeling called to help another and really feeling that pull, but you're meeting some resistance from them. And you can sometimes take that personally. And the call is to respect their bounds, right? Respect their boundaries, and come back to center, come back to yourself, find your own equilibrium from within, balance those divine masculine, divine feminine energies, and then start over from that space. Okay. And so again, the call is going to be to tune into yourself this first week of November. And even when the outside noise is maddening, come back to yourself and go within. That is going to be where you're going to find your most peace, your most harmony, your most tranquility. That's where you're going to feel the most rejuvenated, is when you come back to yourself. Again, part of your essence is to help others and to bring love and support and beauty into the world. But you can't do that if you are out of balance. And so again, I think you're going to have the opportunities this first week to regain that balance, but it's going to take an effort on your part to consistently bring yourself back to self and not be so focused on what's happening in the external world. Because if you focus too much on the external world this week, it's going to be very debilitating for you and your energy. So you need to be very, 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 very protective of your energy this week, and make sure that you're not giving too much of yourself or spreading yourself too thin, which 33s can do. And be very, again, find your own sacred space from within and really nourish that. If you want to, nurture and spread the love, do that for yourself this week. There's a really big call for that for 33s this week. So, and that can be difficult because, like I said, you guys are very much that giving energy. But this week you need to flip it around and give it to yourself, okay? And then the second week of November, we have this really powerful transformative energy coming in, where I feel like, and this could be body, mind, spirit, so just be open to what comes in, but it's almost like this major pivot or major detour. So a major change in direction. This can be because it's a 6 universal month. It can be around home, your home life, partners, spouse, children, whatever. Or it could be around family, so extended family or community. So again, it just feels like maybe you were headed in one direction and then all of a sudden there's a major redirect. And the thing to keep in mind is that this major redirect or this change of course is for your highest good. And I know that that can be triggering to hear that when you're going through something a little challenging, or, any change can be challenging at times. And there's sometimes some level of grief associated with that change, right? And so people don't always love to hear it's for your highest good, because that almost sounds like you're putting a Band-Aid over the feelings, right? The emotions. And you are meant to feel whatever comes up for you when this detour comes in. But it's when you can balance that harsher energy with the more positive energy of understanding that though this is difficult potentially in the moment, where it's leading you is to your highest expression or to a much more joy. Okay, so again, I do feel like there is going to be some kind of direction. I also am getting the sense that for some of you, it could be this feeling of you've tried and tried and tried to be there for somebody or do something for somebody or help somebody in some way, and it just keeps getting met with sort of refusal. And that can feel very, very harsh for a 33-6. So because you guys are so nurturing and giving. But then we come back to that energy that I was talking about for the collective, which is that setting those healthy boundaries and not only being respectful of your own boundaries that you've set, but being respectful of other people's boundaries and trying not to take it personal when someone is not capable of receiving that help or willing to receive that help at this time. Even though you may feel like it's in their best interest, they have to be open and willing to be in receiving mode for it to work. So again, if you just keep coming up against a brick wall, then there's a reason for that. Either their energy in their space, they're not ready, and you keep pushing. So at that point, it becomes interference. And so, or it's just the timing is off. And so you can't take that personal. You just have to respect their wishes and understand that, you tried and time to move on. So again, there is that energy for some of you. So however that comes in, and again, remember home, family, community, or even health. For some of you, it may be something around health where, the universe is trying to show you where you need to give a little extra TLC. So this is your opportunity to do that. It's kind of like maybe something's been kind of nagging you for a little while, kind of been coming into your field of, or your scope of attention, and you've been ignoring it. And now it's kind of like it's coming to accumulation. So it may just be like, okay, you've had this, I don't know, you've had a rash and you continue to ignore it. And now it's like, growing. And so you just need to go to the doctor and get it fixed, right? So it's that kind of energy of something being highlighted that is trying to get your attention and that's going to redirect you in some way, but redirect you in a way that's for your highest good, okay? And then we move into the third week of November. And honestly, 33s, it's this call for rest, for just complete unplugging, disconnecting and going within again. Now, I know that, this third week, I believe, is in the United States is the Thanksgiving holiday. And so that usually equates to, getting together with family or whatever. And so if you can, and sometimes it can be stressful for some people. So if it's that kind of energy for you where it feels very chaotic or stressful or overwhelming, this is a call to protect your energy this week and just relax. Go into contemplation mode, go into receiving mode, but do it from a space of meditation or relaxation where you are unplugging from the need to be everything for everybody, okay? Because that's a big one for 33/6s. You may feel like I need to be perfect and I need to people please and I need to be everything for everybody. And I feel like if that's the mode that you've been in, then the second week of November is going to be a pretty big wake-up call for you that you cannot be that is impossible to achieve, okay? You're not meant to be everything for everybody, and you're going to be kind of forced into quiet mode, right? So where you kind of unplug and rest. It's kind of like, it's interesting because what they're showing me is that saying where it's like, if you know you need to slow down, but you're refusing to slow down, the universe will step in and slow you down in some way. And it's so true if you think about that. So it's like, if you've been in constant go mode and your body is telling you need to slow down, but you're ignoring those cues, the universe will find a way to slow you down. So how that comes in for you will depend on your circumstances, but just know, it's better if we can recognize what our body is trying to show us and we can honor that. So again, it's like if you're constantly having something, you're constantly hitting a brick wall, then maybe you're not meant to go through that brick wall at this time. And so pull back, relax, and go into contemplation mode and just receive. Again, just be open to the messages that you receive. Go within and wait for the cue or the green light to take the next approach, okay? If you can do that, if you can take that time out for self and recognize when you need refueling, right? And it's not always about constantly fueling other people. When you need to be refueled, if you can take that time for that regeneration to occur and unplug and realize that other people's chaos is not your chaos, you have your own challenges to overcome. So there's no need to be constantly in, green light mode where you're constantly trying to help others. First, you need to look at self and see where you need help, right? Where you need support and all that goodness. And it's a conversation we have with 33/6s a lot because of your energy, you're constantly in that giving mode. And so again, this third week of November is more about the receiving mode. And even if that just means nurturing yourself. So as we move into the fourth week of November, it's actually this really beautiful, positive, supportive energy. It's almost like you have an aha moment during your contemplation that third week of November where it's like, you know what? Yeah, I do need support. And it's okay for me to be vulnerable and receive from others or ask for help. There is vulnerability in that, but there's also independence in that. It's like knowing your worth enough to understand that it's okay for me to ask for help and it's okay for me to receive help. And so it's like when you can get into that mode, it opens up the door for this just very supportive, loving, beautiful energy to come in at the end of the month. And I just see like this energy of being surrounded by loved ones, family, support, your supportive team, your network, whether that's, if you don't really have anybody in the physical that is that strong support team for you, then call on your guides, call on the ethereal, right? The cosmic side of things, because they're always there in support and cheering you on. And even though we can't see them all the time, I mean, some people can, but even though we can't see them, they're always there, and their energy is always there, ready to rejuvenate and to help and cheer us on, right? So wherever that support comes from, it does feel very, very supportive and blissful and rejuvenating. And again, it's just being open to receiving. And it's like once we can open ourselves up to receiving that help from others, not the interference from others, but the help from others, then our resources expand, our opportunities expand. And so, yeah, it's really, really beautiful. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in receiving. Where we have been told that there is shame in receiving, it's time to recognize that there is no shame in receiving. There's no shame in honoring the divine feminine energy from within you. Okay? It doesn't always have to be about the action mode. That divine masculine energy of action doesn't always have to be in there. And we've been in that mode for so many thousands of years that it's like now we're being asked to embrace the feminine side of ourselves. And it doesn't matter about gender. We all have feminine, masculine energies from within. And the masculine has been so dominant in the collective that now we're starting to see, as we enter into this age of Aquarius, that feminine energy trying to come in and rise and meet the divine masculine, so that they work in harmony and work in tandem. And so part of that is rest and going within and following our feelings and feeling our feelings and all of those things, and being vulnerable and being in receiving mode, right? It's like the masculine energy is that of giving, the feminine energy is that of receiving. And so you can see where it's like for so long we've suppressed that ability to receive, and now it's kind of coming in pretty strongly. So if we can do that, if we can openly receive and graciously receive while setting our own healthy boundaries, because we do need to have our own space as well, then we can open ourselves up to that support and joy and harmony and balance. And so I'm really feeling that for you all this month. If you can, again, move with the energy and show up for it in the way where you're open to receiving the messages as they come in. And so I pulled an animal spirit card for you just to see what kind of the overall energy was for the month for 33 specifically. And it's interesting, you got cat spirit, and cat says, it's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your over-dependency on others, which is really interesting because that kind of conflicts with what I've been saying for the energies for the month. So I don't really see 33s being overly dependent on others, because your core energy is so much that of giving, and a lot of times you have a difficult time receiving. However, if you are a 33, because a shadow side of that energy can be that you're over dependent, right? And so if you are finding that you are clinging to others, or that's where, in your giving, that's where you receive your validation and your gratification, then that is definitely a call to release that a little bit and step back from that a little bit and claim your independence. Because what I really see for this, how it translates for 33s, is that need to people please, is that, by pleasing others is where you receive your validation. And that if that's where you're at energetically, then yes, you need to strike out on your own. You need to realize that it's not about being perfect. It's not about people pleasing. It's not about being everything to everybody. It's about filling your own cup first, recognizing who you are, coming back to yourself, and then being able to show up for others in support and love from the graciousness of your heart, as opposed to out of obligation or out of the need for validation. Okay, so again, check your energy and see where you're at. If you continuously try to show up for others because you're seeking validation from them, like, oh, you're doing a great job, or oh, you're so perfect, or whatever, and you really get sort of derailed if you make a mistake, then again, this is a call to release yourself and release others from that energy, right? Where you need their validation to show your worth, because that's going to get exhaustive, that's not sustainable, and that's well below the energy of a 33. So if that is your energy at the moment, then you will definitely see some redirects this month that are helping you to move into an energy where it's like when you show up for others, it's because you have the resources, you have the capability of holding that space and being emotionally available to them without the need for I'm not going to say that reciprocal action. I can't say the other word, but anyway, anyway, I'm not going to try. You know what I'm trying to say. But as long as you can show up in a higher elevated state, where you're not looking for that validation and you're not doing it out of obligation, then you change the energy. Then the energy shifts. And so, again, if that is you, then it's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others. Relinquish that need for validation from others. None of us are perfect. There is no perfection, right? It's like we're just constantly in and out of alignment and in and out of balance, and we're just constantly trying to come back into harmony with ourselves and come back into alignment. That is life, right? It's really hard for anybody to ever be fully in balance for their entire lifetime, because there's no transformation there, there's no growth there, there's no evolution there. And so be gentle with yourself. Give yourself a break. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. Give yourself permission to come back to yourself, to fill your own cup, and then show up for others, right? So in a helpful way, not interfering. So I hope that all makes sense. Really powerful energy for 33s this month. I wouldn't expect anything less for you guys. So I hope that it's a beautiful month. I do feel like you've got some transformative energy coming in that can be really powerful, but again, it's really, really beautiful, and it's just moving you along at an accelerated pace towards your next great thing. So this was a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading where we take a look at your actual personal energies to see what's coming in for you and to help you move through those energies, then please book some time with me. My link to my website is in the description box below. Until next time, take care. Bye for now.